Well, hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Stephanie Draker, and I am the program manager for Work and Culture and the lead for this mentorship program in partnership with Brampton Arts Organization. I'm going to be leading everyone through this question and answer session about our mentorship program for the Brampton creative community. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Naomi Stokes, who is going to be helping out with tech support and managing the chat. And I see that we have Michael Viggers from BAO also joining us today, and perhaps some other members from the BAO team. So welcome to them as well. And perhaps if they're able to stay with us for the entire session, if there's any questions that I might not be able to answer, I might call upon them. Otherwise, we will make time later on in this session to get to your questions, and I'm also available after the session as well. So just a few housekeeping items. Now, you might have noticed when you joined that there was a message saying that there's a live stream element active, and also that we were recording. For the live streaming, that is our Otter AI transcript service. So we're not being publicly streamed anywhere else. It's just our transcript that you can open and follow along if that's helpful. We can also enable the Zoom captions if that's helpful for you to follow along. We're going to be recording the first part of this session where I go over the program details in case you'd like to revisit them later on. But for the question and answer period, we won't record that part. But if applicable, we will provide a generalized summary of any questions or clarification that is not already covered by our program page on the website and the downloadable FAQs document that we have available on the page. I'll also ask that if you could please hold your questions to the end, that would be great. We will make time for a Q&A period, as I mentioned earlier. If you do have something that comes up though, and you really want to get it out or get it down, please do pop it into the chat, and my colleague Naomi will keep track of it, and we'll make sure to get to it if it's not answered already by the slides as we go. And if you do have questions, I'll just ask that if, share only what you're comfortable with the group. And if you do have anything that you realize that you'd rather ask one-on-one, you can contact me by email after the session, and I'd be happy to speak with you. So in terms of what I'll be covering today, I'm going to briefly go through the program overview details, eligibility, the program activities and the schedule, as well as the participation expectations and the application process, just so that you have that as a primer. And then we'll reserve the remaining time for general questions and answers that you might still have. A little bit about the partners that are bringing you the program. So I think went back too far. Hand slipped. So I think many of you are already familiar with the Brampton Arts Organization, and we're really pleased to be working with them again on this initiative. And in supporting the amazing work that they're doing, building up and stewarding the creative community in Brampton through their programming services, and of course the brick and mortar hub in downtown Brampton. And for those of you who are not familiar with Work and Culture, we are a provincial nonprofit art service organization with a mission to support the people who work in the cultural sector. And we do this through a variety of services and programming, including our popular job board, which some of you may be familiar with, and professional development partnerships with like-minded organizations like BAO. And I think it's this shared vision around shaping and serving the people who make up the cultural sector that has brought us together on many occasions around several different topics, but with mentorship proving to be one of the high priority learning topics in the Brampton community, specifically based on feedback that we're getting through our programs, and I know feedback that BAO is doing separately. And if you're on this call to learn more about the program, I'm sure you've also recognized the value of mentorship and how it could support the advancement of your creative career. So what we're really doing is building on successful micro-mentorship activities and offering this longer form, more structured program based on feedback from the Brampton community directly. Because as many will tell you, of course, a mentorship, despite whether you're new to it or have received it or provided it before, is an excellent way at any of your point of your career to explore personal and professional growth, identify existing skills, because we are a very highly skilled sector, but also we know that there are gaps that sometimes we just can't quite name, and mentorship is a really great way of exploring what might be missing and what other learning that we might need to pursue. It's also a great way to engage with an expert that has done this work before, and you can receive honest feedback about. and it helps build and expand and reinforce networks, which of course, as people who work in the arts, we know is an extremely valuable part of our professional development, building and leveraging those networks. So in terms of what you can expect from this program, the format is based off of successful longer-term programs Work and Culture has run in the past, which give our mentees and mentors more time and support needed to get to know one another, to also define and address short-term goals, and also plan for longer-term objectives. And I think most importantly, create a plan to support themselves beyond the program as well. So this program is not like our previous drop-in and micro mentorship programs where folks could pick from a number of people to chat with over the course of a workshop or as part of additional one-on-one consultations. And while those programs are, very valuable, this more structured program does require more active participation and engagement, mainly driven by the mentee or the person receiving mentorship, in order to make sure that they're defining their learning goals, and also applying their learning based on guidance from their mentor. And I think, very importantly, reporting back on progress and accomplishment to the rest of the group so that there's more directed knowledge sharing, which of course in turn reinforces that network and community building element, so that participants can continue to benefit beyond the program. So you've no doubt noted from the slide that we're offering an extended 7-month and structured mentorship program for the Brampton creative community. The idea is that we'll support the selected mentees with a strategic business planning and or creative business entrepreneurial challenge or idea they're looking to address or solve. The mentees that are selected for the program will be paired with one skilled mentor for the duration of the program through a matching process. And the mentees and mentors will participate in a series of required and additional group learning sessions, as well as engage in up to 6 hours of one-on-one time together. So that is a little bit more about the program, and you can revisit these details on the website and through the downloadable resources after the session as well. In terms of eligibility, just to reiterate, this program is open to Brampton-based participants that fit within the community categories that Brampton Arts Organization and Work and Culture serve. So that includes practicing artists of any discipline, as well as folks who work with nonprofit or for-profit art and culture organizations. That also includes individual arts administrators, folks like myself, at any career level, currently working with an arts organization or perhaps not, as well as other arts and creative professionals at any career level. So that could be somebody like a consultant or a technician, for example. In addition, Brampton Arts Organization has identified that equity-deserving groups and individuals will be given priority during the review and selection process, out of recognition that barriers to programming like this can often exist for these groups, and they want to ensure representation of the creative community in Brampton within this program. I also wanted to reinforce as part of the eligibility that we're asking applicants to come to the program with a strategic business planning and or creative business or entrepreneurial challenge, idea, project, what have you already in mind. You can be at any stage of the process of addressing this project or idea. It could be at the feasibility stage where you're really just exploring something and perhaps like you're not quite sure, what the results might be, or you might be a little bit further along. But it should be a project or idea that you can start articulating both potential short-term learning and goals that you might be able to address and implement directly during the program, as well as longer-term goals and learning objectives that may extend beyond the program as well. But I will preface that you're not expected to completely address your project or idea or solve your challenge by the end of the program. We are together for 7 months. For some people, that may be possible. For others, they may realize they might have to take other actions first before addressing certain activities that they came to the program with. But the idea is that by participating in this program, whatever stage you're at with this challenge, idea, project, what have you, you will be able to detail the next steps and whatever those next steps might be for you. Could be implementation, it could be completion, it could be resulting in the submission of something else. But yes, you can certainly be at any stage with your project idea. in terms of some examples that might be helpful, and some of these are also included in our FAQs. For instance, you may be an artist applying to this program and you've just completed a body of work, for example, and now you might want to figure out how to exhibit it or market it, take it on tour, maybe sell it. And you're not quite sure where to start. Certainly something like that would be applicable. Or perhaps you're an arts worker actively working for an arts organization, and you realize you need to develop your outreach and community engagement skills so that you can connect with existing audiences, or perhaps develop new audience spaces for your work. You might be a creative professional looking to start a business and just not sure where to start. Or conversely, you might be somebody who has already started a business and have come across some sort of roadblock or setback, and you're looking for somebody who has experience in this area to help you get to the next stage. So those are just a few examples. And the reason why we ask folks to come to the program with an idea already in mind is that it will really help contextualize the learning content and also help you engage more deeply with your peers in the program, as well as your mentor during the program. And then in terms of the activities that you can expect, so this is just a summary. There are more details involved, more details provided on the program page and in the downloadable materials. But at the surface level, there are 3 in-person co-learning workshops that will be held in downtown Brampton at the BAO space. And during these sessions, the mentees will learn about best practices for mentorship and how to get the most out of their specific mentorship experience, including activities to help them plan out their learning goals and objectives, and also opportunities to seek feedback from the group and share progress and success as the program progresses. Now, this element is just open to the program participants, the mentors and the mentees only. And then in addition, the mentees who are selected for the program will receive up to 6 hours of one-on-one mentorship time with their mentor. And how you meet is up to you. You may want to meet virtually up to 2 hours in between the co-learning workshops. You might want to break those up into smaller chunks. It really depends on what your preferred format and availability might look like. And you can discuss that directly with your mentor if you're selected. And then in addition, we're also offering 3 virtual Meet the Expert workshops that will be held by Zoom. And these workshop topics and speakers are going to be based on the learning that's being collected from the applicants. So it will be tailored to people in the program, as well as people who've applied to the program. And this is going to be open to both the mentees and the mentors that are selected for the program, as well as the wider Brampton creative community for further knowledge sharing. And now here's the full schedule for the program. There's a lot of detail there. I won't spend too much time on this slide because there are more details included on the website. And I'll ask actually Naomi at this point to pop in a link directly to the schedule document so that you can spend some time to review and make sure that the schedule aligns with yours. But you can see the pacing here for the in-person workshops, the one-on-one meetings, and the virtual sessions. The program will start off with a matching period between mid-September and mid-October, and those are just very brief. It's just making sure that we spend a little time with the mentee and the potential mentor to make sure it's a good fit in terms of learning objectives and personalities. And then the actual program activities themselves run from mid to late October until mid-April 2025. And then in terms of just highlighting some of the main partnership expectations, this mentorship program is structured in a way that emphasizes best practices for mentees and mentors, as well as peer learning to support a well-rounded experience and optimize learning. So mentees will need to be available and actively involved in this program, including attending that mentor match meeting to confirm fit with the proposed mentor, actively participating in all of the in-person workshops and making sure that they're engaging with their peers. It's also highly encouraged to attend the Meet the Expert workshops, those virtual sessions, because they will be based on the learning priorities of the group. And of course, most importantly, mentees will be expected to proactively engage their mentor for the one-on-one meetings as scheduled, and also make sure they're taking the time to apply their learning during the program and report back on their progress throughout. And just some other highlights of the participant expectations. So there are no fees to apply or participate in the program, but I did want to mention that there is travel required, of course, to attend the in-person workshops and potentially the one-on-one mentor meetings, depending on what the mentee and mentors decide, which may result in additional costs related to attending those sessions. There may also be additional or optional resources or learning opportunities suggested by the mentor that you might want to take advantage of, books or readings, maybe other workshops or attendance at events. And because of this, in recognition that, the mentees will be putting time and energy into attending this program, Brampton Arts Organization has generously offered to compensate mentees selected for the program. And for those who complete a minimum of 75% of the program activities, they may be eligible for an honorarium of up to $750 to help offset participation. And then in terms of the application process, the online application form is available on the Work and Culture website. There's a direct link in this slide, and Naomi can pop a link into the chat as well. You can also email to access a PDF version of the form if you require more time to craft your answers, but we do ask that you, if you do take time in advance to write out your answers in a Word document, let's say, please do make sure that you fill out the online application form to fully submit. The application deadline is September 9th, 2024, and shortly after that, applications will be reviewed by a selection committee. Only 8 mentees will be accepted into the 2024-2025 program, and we will endeavor to notify all of the applicants by the end of the week of September 16th. And in terms of planning your application, along with confirming you're Brampton-based, of course, and what your connection to the creative and cultural community is, we'll also be looking for details about the following to make sure that your project ideas, challenges, and learning goals are a good fit for the program and the learning activities that we're designing. So we'll be looking for details about your creative business, or entrepreneurial challenge or idea or project that you're bringing to the program, details about why you think mentorship in this program will support you in addressing your learning goals, and then also additional skills or resources that you think you'd like to know more about in support of your learning and achieving your goals. So we're not looking for lengthy paragraphs for these answers, but we are looking for you to be as specific as possible about what your project idea or ideas are, and what your learning objectives are, and what your goals might be, and how mentorship will support your learning. So some of you may be further along in your planning, so you may have some very specific measurements or achievements you're hoping to address with this program. Some of you may be just at the starting point of exploring that challenge, or perhaps an opportunity that may be presented to you, and that's just fine. I think what's most important is that you're articulating what you want to do, what you're hoping to achieve or solve, and how you feel mentorship and actively participating in this program will support you. So I've spent a lot of time talking. I've given you hopefully a detailed overview of what the program is about. And at this point, we're going to move on to the question and answer period. So I'm just going to take a moment to stop recording. Bear with me.